A lovely evening and thank you for watching. This is Times News with me, Elita Soko. First, the headlines. President Lazarus Chakwera calls for shared responsibility in the protection of people with albinism. Leader of opposition in Parliament, Nkhani, describes the first year of the Tonse Alliance administration as a failure. And malaria claimed 2,500 lives in 2020. We have these and other stories. Do stay with us. And our first news item tonight, President Lazarus Chakwera has called for shared responsibility in the protection of people with albinism. President Chakwera said this when he presided over the commemoration of International Albinism Awareness Day in Kwagwanji today. Blessings Mpinganjira reports.
Chakwera said the responsibility to end discrimination and violence against people with albinism is for everyone. The President has called for full implementation of the National Action Plan, which, among others, advocates for the construction of houses for persons with albinism.
The responsibility to end all stigmatization against persons with albinism, the responsibility to end all discrimination against persons with albinism, the responsibility to end all violence against persons with albinism lies with us. We must accept that responsibility.
In the approved budget, government has allocated 400 million kwacha for the construction of persons with albinism and 300 million kwacha to the National Action Plan for various interventions. President of the Association of People with Albinism in Malawi, Ian Simbota, thanked government for the steps it is taking to protect persons with albinism. Malawi has registered 175 cases of attacks of people with albinism since 2014.
Leader of opposition in Parliament, Nkhani, has described the first year of the Tonse Alliance administration as a failure. His assessment, he says, follows the rising cost of living among Malawians. Mandi Bondani reports.
Nkhani has accused the Chakwera administration of giving Malawians a raw deal for failing on most of its campaign promises. He decries the rising cost of living perpetuated by the depreciating Malawi kwacha, saying millions of Malawians can hardly afford basic necessities of life. The leader of opposition in Parliament then asked President Chakwera to ensure that government and economic policies are informed by the agenda which he sold to Malawians during the campaign.
They have left a lot of people wanting because of one major aspect. It's the fulfillment of the campaign promises. Because when the Trust Alliance or they were campaigning, they had an agenda which they took to the Malawians and sought that agenda. I'm talking of the agenda like 1 million. Yes. They were talking about within 6 months of their stay in government. Can someone stand up today to confirm that that promise has been actualized? To add so to the injury, then we have the skyrocketing of essential commodities in the country. Malawians are suffering. The government continues to borrow domestically at the fastest and at the highest rate. The kwacha strength continues to be very, very high as compared to other foreign currencies. So these are the issues which I thought that the Tonse Alliance government would have done better.
In its assessment write-up signed by Chairperson Gift Trapens, the Human Rights Defenders Coalition HRGC says that Malawians are poorer now than they were a year ago when Chakwera took over reins of power. The HRGC has said the Tonse Alliance administration has been characterized by pain and despair among Malawians. Going forward, Willie Kambwendura of Center for Social Accountability and Transparency, CSAT, says President Chakwera should be decisive in the fight against corruption.
Our expectation is that people convicted of these cases, they should pay back the money. and the money that will be recovered should be used for the intended purposes. But again, most importantly, we expected that there should be no selective justice. We expect equal prosecution of all cases involving plunder of public sources. We also expect maybe the president in the next 4 years to walk the talk on the fight against corruption.
But government spokesperson Gospel Kazako says that government has achieved a lot, saying the Chakwera administration remains committed to uplifting people's lives.
Now, as hopes for the country's economic rebound remain uncertain, Times has discovered that over 180 million kwacha confiscated from proceeds of unlawful deals lie idle, several years after courts forfeited the money to government coffers. Our investigation shows that the money is lying idle in Financial Intelligence Authority (FIA) bank accounts. Rebecca Jimcheka has compiled this report read by Audrey Gabalamula.
Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, Shadrack Namalomba, bemoaned that his committee has been struggling to get reports from FIA on confiscated proceeds from various financial crimes. According to the Ministry of Finance, there is over 180 million kwacha available from the forfeited proceeds. Financial Intelligence Authority spokesperson Masauto Ebere says such money is subject to audit. Director of Public Prosecutions, Steve Kayuni, called for clear regulations on the use of money recovered from financial crimes. In 2014, government seized 112 million kwacha cash from Victor Sitore after court had charged him with possession of stolen goods, money laundering and illegal possession of forex. In August 2014, 63 million kwacha was also recovered from Triza Senzani, another cashgate convict who had surrendered her house valued at 63 million kwacha, and 270 million kwacha was recovered from another Oswald Lutepo on his business premises.
Government plans to use 26 billion kwacha to buy over 9 million mosquito nets to be distributed to Malawians in 25 districts of the country. The development comes as reports indicate that only 55% of Malawians sleep under mosquito nets. In 2020, Malawi registered 6.9 million cases of malaria, with over 2,500 lives claimed, figures exceeding those of any other disease in Malawi. Josephine Chipofia has compiled this report read by Sam Kalimira.
Programs Manager for National Malaria Control Program, Dr. Michael Kayange, said the distribution of the mosquito nets would be done in October and November this year, beginning with the southern region, central and northern region. Kayange said the Ministry of Health will conduct indoor residual spray in the remaining 4 districts which are not going to receive mosquito nets, which are Nkatabe, Nkhotakota, Balaga and Mangochi.
Mosquito nets, October, November, we'll start with the south, central, the north. So October, November, these 2 months we'll distribute the whole country, except 4 districts where we're doing indoor residual spraying. Except 4 districts, Nkatabe, Nkhotakota, Balaga and Mangochi. So we're doing IRS indoor residual spraying in this district. So it's a similar intervention, but now that's in popular. We call it indoor residual spraying. So when they have this intervention, we are not to give them the net, because that will be duplicated.
Health analyst George Jobe said the government should not just distribute mosquito nets, but also provide awareness campaigns to people on how best they can use them and clear misconceptions that people have on mosquito nets. However, Jobe said it is sad that some people use mosquito nets for fishing and covering gardens, which is contrary to the aim of government. He also said others have misconceptions that sleeping under mosquito net can make one impotent, and also that they bring bed bugs. A recent research by the Research Division in the Department of Fisheries found out that fishers continue using illegal fishing equipment, which include mosquito nets. Malawi plans to eradicate malaria by 2030, and one way of achieving this is making sure that everyone sleeps under treated mosquito nets every day. Figures show that only 55% of Malawians sleep under mosquito nets. In 2020, Malawi registered 6.9 million cases of malaria and claimed lives of over 2,500 people, more than any other diseases.
Now, the Ministry of Health has expressed concern over a lack of information about the COVID-19 pandemic and its vaccine. Secretary for Health Dr. Charles Mwansambo expressed the concern on Friday in Lilongwe during the launch of COVID-19 sensitization drive funded by GIZ. Ellen Pindani has compiled this report read by Fali Banda.
Mwansambo said misinformation about COVID is frustrating his ministry's efforts to reduce the spread of the pandemic. He appealed to the public to help the ministry in passing correct information about COVID-19 and its vaccine.
Now, this is an excellent campaign indeed, and as you're aware, there's quite a lot of misinformation there about the COVID-19, the vaccination, and various other issues around COVID-19. It's good that this campaign is getting the right message to the people.
Head of the Development Cooperation at the Germany's Embassy, Sabine Lindemann, said GIZ has launched the sensitization drive on COVID-19 to help spread right information about the pandemic and the vaccine.
Will help to meet people in the different districts, in 12 districts of whole Malawi. This will be in a kind of very welcome situation, and people can ask questions so that they will better understand why it is so important to get the vaccine. Because
COVID-19 cases have started rising again in the country, forcing Presidential Task Force to warn the public about the adherence to the preventive measures.
Vice President Saulos Chilima today participated in a fundraising event dubbed United for Soldier Mega Aerobics at Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe. The event was organized to raise funds for musicians Lucius and Paul Banda and their brother Francis, who all require specialized medical attention. Chilima explains more to our reporter Rebecca Chimjega.
We gather here today so that we can support our three brothers, Paul Banda, Lucius Banda, and Francis Banda. And I would like to really thank the organizers for putting up this show. Those that have sponsored in different ways, cash, kind, the instructors, and perhaps most importantly, the people that showed up. Because events like these, are nice when there are people to participate. So it's a very good thing, and I would like to encourage others to borrow a leaf, that when there is reason for us to come together to support fellow citizens, we must do that.
That was Vice President Saulos Chilima. Now, the Malawi Congress Party has urged its youth to continue being peace-loving and disciplined. Regional Chairperson for the South, Peter Simbi, made the call during an event observing the first anniversary of the Tonse Alliance administration. Jamison Jauluka reports.
On June 23, Malawians went to polls to elect a new government. It's over a year since the election, which ushered in President Lazarus Chakwera and his vice Saulos Chilima's government under the banner of Tonse Alliance. Malawi Congress Party youth in the southern region paraded in the streets of Blantyre celebrating the milestone. The party's regional chairperson, Peter Simbi, hailed the initiative, saying it is high time MCP youth assume leadership roles in the party.
Malawi Congress Party youth, through our leadership, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. Not only that, since Dr. Hethenks Kamuzu Banda, former, left 4 cornerstones, and we have to fall. That's now our duty. We now are moving, we are looking after to tell them what Kamuzu left.
MCP's Deputy Director of Youth in the South, Desire Gambewa, said the youth will continue working with Dr. Lazarus Chakwera to develop the country.
We have to learn the spirit of hard work, because the only hard workers will enjoy the benefits of this government. We have learned to work in the field, to work hard, so that everyone can enjoy the fruits of this tree.
During the celebrations, MCB's veteran members were presented with various gifts.
This is Times News. We'll be back with more shortly.
Your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Nalero, bwenzani kungongole mosavuta. Send money to any bank or any phone number. Just dial *247#. Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back, and still in the news, the Blantyre City Council has expressed excitement with infrastructure development taking place in the city. The joy was expressed during the official opening of Nico Group offices in Blantyre. According to Blantyre City Mayor Wild Ndipo, the developments are uplifting the city. More in this report by Justin Mkweo.
Ndipo said it is their desire to see Blantyre leading in infrastructure and commerce, considering it is a commercial city. He added that apart from changing the face of the city, the developments contribute to economic development.
These two buildings stand in town, and this is what we have been crying for as Blantyre City Council. We would want a regenerated city, a city with these buildings like this. And I urge all other companies or corporates or property owners to emulate this good gesture. Because for our city, we should look at what city are we expecting, what city do we want to have, what city do we want to leave to our children. So these two buildings, I really recommend Nico for such structures, magnificent structures.
Nico Group Operations Executive Chifundo Jiundira said they have spent 2.8 billion kwacha on renovation works on Nico and Kaben houses. He said the refurbishment of the houses means a lot to their operations because it will bring efficiency.
They should expect new products from us, new ways of providing services to them, and they should expect our continued total commitment and loyalty to them as our customers, which is associated with our brand, Nico.
Kapeni has just been renovated, while Nico House has been refurbished after it caught fire 3 years ago.
A librarian has become millionaire after winning the 5 million Kwacha grand prize in NBS Bank's Easy Fest promotion. The final draw of the competition found Goodson Malita, a customer for the bank's Zomba branch, winner of the cash prize. NBS Bank Cluster Manager for South and Eastern Regions, Gracious Jangaya, said the promotion has achieved its objective of promoting a saving culture, as evidenced by the ever-increasing number of participants every month.
We are still working on encouraging our customers to be saving. And you might recall we started this promotion in December when people were busy, spending. And the reason was to inculcate that culture, to instill that culture of saving. And we ran it through up to March deliberately, so that people can learn how to save even in lean periods, January, February, those are lean months. And the progress is quite good. And as NBS Bank, we are still doing a lot of things to ensure that people are saving. We have PAFUP agents all over the country in all the major trading centers. The reason is to make sure that people have access to save their funds and access their funds. And we have digital platforms where people can do a lot of transactions, so that in this period of COVID, they are not scared to go to the bank. They should just use the mobile platform to pay for, say, DSTV, water, road traffic, you name it, even taxes. That's what we are doing as a bank.
And National Bank of Malawi says it will soon come up with new banking products targeting people in rural areas, particularly those facing internet challenges in accessing their services. The development comes after the bank has received complaints that some of its products, especially the newly introduced Kasupe package designed to assist village banks, are not accessible to rural dwellers. Patience Lunda with the details.
This was disclosed at an interface that the bank organized for Mzuzu-based village banks on Thursday. Mzuzu Service Center Manager Sam Mzungu said the bank will engage other stakeholders on how best they can reach out to the seemingly neglected communities, as village banks are an essential tool that can spur development.
The ideal way is that we are trying to we are like enablers for the village banks. And I'm sure the attributes that we have put on this Kasupe Finance are very friendly. They are cheap in a way from the normal banking services that you get elsewhere. And this is
Kasupe Finance is a package designed to assist village banks in accessing financial products and services from the bank. Village banks eligible for this package are those that have operated for at least 1 year and keep records of their financial transactions. One of the participants, Dimeria Rocha from Philadelphia Village Bank, says most people are opting for village banks because bank processes are tedious and expensive. Rocha then appealed to the bank to reduce service fees, which are said to be high.
The reason we are in village banks is because we were running away from the service charges, the service fees, the checkbook fee, the book balance that they require us to pay before we open the account. Those are the charges that we fear maybe some village banks may not meet. And there's also another package that they've introduced about digital banking. It's a thing that most village banks, they don't have smartphones, internet, because we are talking about village bank, that's in the typical village.
The introduction of the Kasupe account received reservations from some quarters of the society over what they described as meddling of the bank in microfinance market. Mzuzu City has more than 100 village banks.
And finally, in international news, Derek Chauvin will face 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd, the case that triggered international protests and calls for greater racial reckoning. The former Minneapolis police officer was convicted on 2 charges of murder and 1 charge of manslaughter in April. VOA's Robert Raphael has more about Friday's sentencing.
As sentenced for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd.
As Derek Chauvin listened, Judge Peter Cahill said that he did not make his decision based on public opinion and that he recognized the pain the case had caused everyone inside the courtroom and elsewhere. Earlier in the hearing, Chauvin addressed the Floyd family briefly, stopping short of issuing an apology.
At this time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family.
But members of Floyd's family told the court that words cannot take away their pain.
I wanted to know from the man himself, why? What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck? Why when you knew that he posed no threat anymore, he was handcuffed, why you didn't at least get up? Why you stayed there?
Floyd's nephew later said the judge's sentence is not true justice for his uncle.
When you think about George being murdered in cold blood with a knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, execution style in broad daylight, 22 and a half years is not enough.
Right. Go ahead.
We were served a life sentence. We can't get George back. Gianna can't hug George again.
I can't breathe all the time.
This cell phone video of Chauvin placing his knee on Floyd's neck outside a store in Minneapolis in May 2020, along with several other high-profile killings of black citizens in recent years, sparked worldwide protests, particularly in the U.S. Chauvin still faces federal civil charges in Floyd's death. He is expected to appeal both his criminal conviction and his sentence. Robert Raffel, VOA News.
And that's the news tonight. And now the headlines again. President Lazarus Chakwera calls for shared responsibility in the protection of people with albinism. Leader of opposition in Parliament, Kondwani Nkhani, describes the first year of the Tonse Alliance administration as a failure. And malaria claimed 2,500 lives in 2020. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Stay safe. You've been with me, Elita Soko. Have a lovely night.
Bact College, established in 1995, is a proven business college recognized